Let's start it. Let's go right now.
All right. Uh, Welcome to Good Times with Alex and Ryan. I'm your host, Ryan Sprague, or Josh, as some like to call me. And I'm here with Alex. Alex?
You almost sounded like you didn't remember who I was. I'm here with, as always, Alex. You didn't even sound like you knew who the hell I was when you introduced me. What's the matter with you?
It's been a while, man. It's been a while. Give me a break.
Yeah, well, supposedly it's been a while. Apparently Josh says he's been playing the part of you for the last 10 episodes. Is there any truth to this?
You know, maybe there's a reason I forgot your name didn't just pop into my head as soon as we got started.
Well, can you imagine if my mom named me something other than Alex, 4 letters, 2 syllables? If you're having an issue with that, you would have an issue with a different, a longer name, perhaps. My mom told me that she named me Alex because when I went into first grade, she wanted to make sure I was able to spell my own name.
Wow. Well, have you seen Elon Musk's kid's name? AXC 418, something like that.
What?
Yeah, it's.
Are you sure his kid's name isn't Pi, 3.145792?
No, it's a weird one. It's like AXE 2 something something. Anyway, hey, all you good timers. I just want to say thank you for tuning in. Be sure to get us a subscription there, a like, and we appreciate you being in here. And Alex, what do you got for us?
I got a lot of stuff for us, but before we get into the fun facts, since you brought up Elon Musk, he's on my naughty list right now.
Why?
I'm upset with Elon.
Because he hosted it SNL?
No, because
he digs tunnels.
I haven't invested in Dogecoin.
He's gonna make us go to Mars because why? Because he makes electric cars and reduces carbon emissions. Why, no, Alex?
Well,
why?
Carbon emissions kind of has something to do with it. So I recently took the plunge and invested in some crypto, and that was about 2 weeks ago, and everything was going fine and dandy. It was having a nice return every day. And then all of a sudden, this rogue, dirty son of a bitch, Elon Musk, decides to say that he's not for Bitcoin anymore because it causes too much harmful things to the environment. And all of a sudden, Bitcoin plummets, and it's all because he keeps opening his fat mouth, and he's messing with my nut, Ryan, and I don't like it.
I like most cryptocurrencies. I hate Bitcoin.
Why?
You know why? Because it's a ripoff. The guy that made it, he kept almost all of it for himself. And then he puts it on the market. So he has made so much money. And it's probably a cartel.
You think the guy who made Bitcoin is runs a drug cartel?
Yes, because the reason is because you can hide it. You can transfer money. That's why everybody it's so hard to get money across the U.S. and stuff. That's why when you go on planes, you can only take so much.
I know where you're going with this.
Yeah, yes, it's a criminal. It's a criminal thing, so they can transfer money easier.
Because crypto, they develop different cryptocurrency and different things for the crypto community where you can pay for things from the United States with a cheaper fee and faster times to get it to your family members. That's what they're designing. So I think you might be onto something.
You can track that stuff, but on Bitcoin you cannot track it. And some of it was made under very shady circumstances. So, but the other ones weren't. Ethereum, it's not very shady. Everybody knows who the founder is. Everybody knows what it's for. Same with Dogecoin. It was made as a joke. Everybody knows what's going on with that. Bitcoin is shady as dog crap. So
dog crap's not really that shady. And if it is shady, it'd be easier to steer clear of it. Dog crap is the opposite of shady. Every time you think you're in the clear when you're walking barefoot, you just happen to step in it or something. The worst thing in the world is stepping in dog crap when you just got a brand new pair of tennis shoes.
It is.
And you just landmine yourself. That is the worst thing ever. Because you're like, your shoes still look pretty good. They're brand new, but in your heart, you're never getting all of it out of the crevices of the sole of your foot. It's done. It's ruined at that point.
You know what's really bad is like if you're at work and you step in dog crap, and then everybody's gonna smell you the rest of the day, like with dog crap on your foot.
Dude,
No, you try to wipe it off, it's still there.
Not even dog crap, but I'm just gonna tell an Alex's true life story right now. This will take 10 seconds. When we were in high school, I was in the weights class down, like the weightlifting area at the North Bend High School was like down below. It was like almost basement level. And I was down there squatting on that old like 1976 squat rack. And I was repping like 225 or something. And I ended up straining too hard and I accidentally went, crap in my pants. So, and there were girls all over the place. My friends are all over the place. My football coach was the teacher.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Telling us this online.
That's fine. So then I go,
world. When I was a kid,
all 7 of our Twitch followers are like, Alex crapped himself. No. So I go to the teacher and I'm like, hey, Mr. W, I need to go to the bathroom. And he's like, oh yeah, no problem. Here's a hall pass. So I didn't want to tell anybody that I crapped my pants. So I just take the hall pass, go to the bathroom, pack my bag up and just go home. I just didn't come back the rest of the day.
Why not? You got to.
Yeah, I'm not coming. No way I'm coming back. There's nothing important. I got to go shower up. Price is Right starts in an hour. It was a lucky mistake. Okay. I caught a break by crapping my pants. I didn't miss any daytime television that day. So, glass half full situation, Ryan. And with that, let's get into some fun facts, buddy.
Oh, I'm ready for some fun.
All right, Ryan. In the early 1900s, there was a U.S. baseball team made up of death row inmates. Their executions were postponed as long as the team kept on winning.
What was that? That was a foreign country, wasn't it?
No, it was in the U.S., but they also did that in foreign countries as well. I kind of looked into it when I saw it because I wasn't I kind of fact-checked myself. I took a page out of your book because it was too good to be true, this fun fact. I can't believe this is true, but it's true. There was death row baseball teams that as long as they kept winning baseball games, they wouldn't be killed.
Wow, that sounds cruel.
Can you imagine the stress of being on that team? It's like, well, thanks to Dave and his dumbass air in the 7th, we're all going to die now.
It's laughing, but it's sad.
Yeah. Thanks to stupid Steven in center misreading that ball. Well, we're all dead.
When was this? Around World War II?
1900s, so World War I.
Oh, okay.
Early 1900s.
Okay, because I was getting it confused with a League of Their Own type stuff.
I don't think that they were like celebrating women's baseball by killing them, Ryan.
No, I mean like not confusing that.
Where's your mind going, buddy? Look at how amazing the women's pro baseball team.
Like I thought they were all at war, so then they would have the women do it and not inmates.
No, this is like the Hunger Games, but with a baseball team.
Yeah, Alex, I heard on the last episode you were a little upset at the fact checking. So there's a little animosity, a little ticks, a little a
little upset.
Yeah.
Well, Ryan, I want to point out something that before we started filming the show today, this morning, one of the good timers, Ashley, actually fact-checked. She fact-checked something for me and made you aware of it. That yes, Vice President Aaron Burr did kill Alexander Hamilton in a gun duel. So just in case you had the urge to fact check me, Ashley took care of it and had my back. What do you think about that, Ryan?
I think she was trying to troll you and not me. Because I held back on it.
It happened. He killed Ryan back in the old days when they had duels too. if you got shot with one of those, because the muskets probably had those little balls that they had to pack with like, gunpowder and like paper and stuff. If you got shot with that, you're probably not dying from the gunshot itself. You're probably dying from the infection you get.
Again,
yeah. So Alexander Hamilton probably had to he died 2 deaths that day. He died from the gun ball that eventually killed him, but he also died from embarrassment because, he lost in front of, God and country in the duel. So
now, okay. So the context of that is I made a comment that if you think politics is divided today, Teddy Roosevelt punched an opposing politician onto the ground like 3 times because he said something mean to him. And then Alex comes and like, well, you know what? There was a duel before that. And you know what, good timers? There was a war before that. They're like, we don't like the way those Britons are coming here and protecting us. And from the French and Indian War and making us pay for it. That's
Ryan. Wait a minute. They protected us. They protected us from the French and Indian War. I'm not going to say anything because I don't know enough about the topic, but I do know that we came over to explore. At one point, a lot of us were from Great Britain, and we were being taxed on like everything. And then weren't the colonists upset because it was taxation without representation? So
in the good book,
the Bible or a U.S. history textbook? What are you going on? Where are you going?
The Bible says to pay your taxes.
There's got to be something.
Think about this. You don't pay taxes, but then all these guys died in a war.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to pay taxes. Like, is that worth it? Death? No. A life. Or paying taxes. And
you're taking your stand on a war over taxes and being ruled. Like, you're pissed off about Britain taxing us and they shouldn't die because of that, but you didn't get upset at all about the death row baseball team all being murdered because they committed an error and lost the game. You laughed at that.
I was a little upset at that. I thought that was a little cool. I did say that. Okay. So nice roundabout to get us back on topic.
Well, they shouldn't have been, hey, the death row baseball team, they kind of made their own bed. So the fact that they even got a lifeline from the U.S. government, it's like, hey, man, we got a situation here. We're all pretty bored right now. And we're going to start a baseball league. And basically, if you guys lose, we're going to kill you. But, you were supposed to be executed yesterday. So just don't lose. And, you go 162-0, you'll live till the next season. I don't even know how many games they played or what, but you'd probably take that deal, right? You'd be so focused. You'd be training every day. The problem is Kobe Bryant's whole thing about there is no failure, only opportunities to learn. It's like, no, Kobe, if you played on that baseball team, there is failure. You're not learning from any mistakes because if you make a mistake, you're dead. So I don't know that mindset applies to those guys, but
it's like that movie Hook, like where the guy pulls out a gun and shoots him. He stole second.
Oh, yeah, he stole. Go get him, Jack. Go get him, Jack.
Got him for stealing second.
Well, shouldn't have stole second. Shmi was right there with the musket.
Run home, Jack. Run home.
That's a great movie. Hey, you know what else is great, Ryan? This second fun fact, buddy.
I'm ready.
All right. The Incas, the Incas were like an ancient tribe back in long time ago. They measured time by how long it took to boil a potato.
We measure heat by how much it takes to boil water.
Really? But not.
Huh? Same thing, huh?
Really? Oh, is that based on boiling water?
Yeah, I think it's that's energy or something. It's BTUs or something like that. You can fact check me. I don't mind.
Is Ashley in the chat? Can we get her on the horn right now?
I'm emotionally stable enough for you to fact check me and not get upset about it.
Well, I'm not emotionally stable enough because I'm like a beaten down wife, and you're the husband who like has a hair trigger temper. I'm just like, here's your dinner, Ryan. I hope it's good. I hope you didn't have a hard day at work, Ryan. I hope everything's great. Here's your newspaper. Hopefully the stock market's not down because I don't want you to unleash on me, tonight. Here's your dinner, bud. Till death do us part here with the podcast. I had no idea what I was getting into. 50 episodes in, not really getting fact checked. Lots of laughs, lots of good times. Episode 51 rolls around. Ryan kind of drops a slight fact check on me. Episode 52, 53, there's a couple more.
I think, how do you
get around to 54, 55? It's like every time I say something.
You're so salty about it. You have the episode memorized because that's probably about right.
You remember when you started to become passive aggressive with me.
You're like, how about 10 minutes 50 seconds in, that's when it happened.
Yeah, and it's not a big deal, but it happened. Hey, if you're an Inca, hey, back to the Incas real quick. If you're the parents and you're talking to your kid back in the old days, you're 3 potatoes late, young man. We had time to boil 3 potatoes, kiddo.
How would you even measure that? Because you can't tell how boiled a potato is.
They probably just took the bone that was holding up their wife's hair and like put it in the middle of the potato to see if it was soft in the middle.
Yeah, but that's so subjective. How soft?
Well, I don't know. And how big was the fire that they're cooking the potatoes on? They might have had a lower class Incan family that could only afford, like a little bit of kindling, to get that fire going. Who knows? You're right, Ryan. I think we need to fact check this. I'm actually on your team here. Get the intern on this, please. Ryan, did you know that we have something in common with Leonardo da Vinci?
Oh, do we do? Well, that's
cool. We do. And do you know what it is?
I'm very interested to hear this.
Okay. None of Leonardo da Vinci's writings were ever published during his lifetime. So he got super famous after his death. I kind of think that the Good Times podcast is going to finally blow up when we're both dead. What do you think? Geniuses in our own time. We don't even know it yet.
I think we're going to hit it. I think we're like the diamond in the rough. No one only the OGs know about us now. But when it gets big,
watch out. Hold on to your hats.
Watch out.
Yeah. I was gonna say though, we've had some really encouraging growth lately. Our YouTube views are way up, and I think that's because of just being a little bit more consistent. And I think the thumbnails have really helped with getting somebody, people's attention that wouldn't normally watch or listen to us. And I also think, I kind of think that the 5-star reviews on the Apple Podcasts are really helping because it helps with the algorithm, which I think is a big deal. And I also think that just the quality of the shows has gone up drastically because when you and I first started, do you remember what it was like? It was like, hey, Ryan, you're like, what's up, Alex? It's like, I got this idea. It's kind of general. We're going to broad stroke it. We don't have anything planned and we'll just see what happens.
I'm getting those short clips out, as I can right now. I've got short clips planned for the next 2 weeks. 9:00, everybody, coming out on our other channel, Good Times with that Alex and Ryan clips, and Instagram. So
hey, the Instagram is having some nice growth too. Have you noticed that we gained like 10 different followers this week on the Instagram?
I don't. I didn't notice that. I'm just like, oh well, I'll post some things.
I'll post some things. I'll do some things and things. You sound like frickin' Richard Pryor in Brewster's Millions. Have you ever seen that movie where he inherits like $100 million and his uncle Rupert, he didn't know his rich uncle Rupert. And he says, listen, you can take $10 million tax-free right now, or I'm going to give you $100 million to spend. But at the end of a month, you can't have any assets. You can't own anything. You can't have anything of value, no assets, but you have to spend the $100 million. And if you do that, you'll get $1 billion. So the whole movie is Richard Pryor trying to spend $100 million, but he can't tell his friends or family while he's doing it. So they all think he's crazy. So the whole time Richard Pryor's spending like, He's only renting suits. He's renting cars. He's throwing parties. He's running for political election. But he doesn't actually want to win. He just wants to waste money on the election process. And the whole time, John Candy, who's his best friend, is secretly taking money and investing it in like oil derricks or like icebergs in Alaska. And they all keep hitting. So there's a scene where John Candy's like, good news, I secretly invested in this iceberg. And I spent, $1 million. And Richard Pryor's like, that's great. And because that's $1 million he doesn't have to spend. And then John Candy's like, got even better news. We struck oil. It's now worth $300 million. And then Richard Pryor's like, damn it. Now I'm right back where I started.
What movie is that?
Brewster's Millions. It's like a 1980s movie. It's so funny. Richard Pryor, John Candy. There's a bunch of people in that movie. It's really good. Like it's one of those kind of like forgotten comedy gems from the 80s. I don't even think it was appreciated in its own time. Kind of like the Good Times podcast now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying on Instagram. I'm like, oh, that's funny. I'll put it up on there. or like, hi, I'm at an undisclosed location. Well, I really forgot those jokes.
I'm in one of Elon Musk's tunnels right now. Nicole Webb in the chat. Hunzi #1 says that movie sounds pretty good. The Brewster's Millions.
I'm gonna watch it.
Oh, it's a family friendly movie too. So you and the kids, yeah, it's a comedy. It's I think it's like PG-13. It's pretty good.
All right.
Like it. Well, I want to, since we're talking about it, I want to say one more thing. He's like throwing this. He's throwing this election party, and he at the end of it, he spent all his money, and the people show up to like take his suit away because he rented it for like a week. And the tailors are like, all right, well, give me the suit. So all he's wearing is what he wore to the meeting to meet his uncle's, will people in. So he's wearing like a baseball jersey, a hat, and like one of those stupid election hats, they had in the 20s. It looks like a barbershop quartet hat. He's got nothing. He owns nothing.
Yeah.
It's a good movie.
He could have, bought a big container ship and then wrecked it and not had insurance.
Oh, you know what? That's actually really good. Like he could do a new Carissa thing. Like it happened down, like try to take this container ship through a really narrow tunnel really narrow place in the water that you're not getting through.
Maybe that's what happened in the Panama Canal.
Oh yeah. Maybe that was Brewster.
I'm gonna block the canal.
Oh, hey, one more thing in that movie. I don't know why we keep talking about this movie, but he buys that stamp where the plane is printed upside down. That super multi-million-dollar stamp. Do you know what I'm talking about? It's like so he buys this stamp and it's printed upside down. It's like one of one. And the people who are like trying to get him to not win the bet because they'll get the money instead of him. They're like, well, he bought this stamp. He's going to have it. He's going to have an asset at the end of it. So Richard Pryor sends those guys a letter to like saying, I hope you're having a good day. And on the letter is the stamp. He mailed the stamp. It's like postmarked. It's ruined. It's pretty good, huh?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
That is pretty good.
Speaking of stamps, have you seen the Pokemon craze going on? Heard about that?
Yeah, I have, not with stamps, though, with the game, because Nicole's almost killed me like 10 times this week because of that game.
She's almost killed you.
She doesn't walk into traffic. She's driving in traffic, but she's not looking at the road, so I've almost died like 9 times when she's playing Pokemon.
I'm talking about the cards. Like, there's a craze going on. Like, Target canceled, having cards out because people were fighting in the parking lot.
For the Pokemon cards?
Yes.
I know baseball cards and basketball cards are huge now.
Well, no, it was football and basketball for sure. Yeah.
It's because I think what happened, like it's the card industry is in the biggest boom I've seen since when you and I were kids, like young kids, because go ahead.
Probably bigger because we used to like put it in our real spokes.
Yeah, they don't do that with autographed and game used jersey cards. No, I was going to say, though, I think the pandemic had a lot to do with it because people got their stimulus checks and they weren't going to work and a lot of places were closed. So people were like, well, I've got $1,400. What am I going to do with it? They started buying baseball cards.
Yeah.
And doing a lot of stuff online. I love baseball cards. I'm so happy it's popular again because I never stopped.
Oh.
But Pokemon, people are fighting in the streets for these Pokemon cards, huh?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Stamp trying to find it.
So what happened to Billy? Well, Billy was trying to get a Charmander and he went down to Bimart and he ended up pulling a really rare Snorlax, and there was this person who saw it and he just clubbed the shit out of Billy. Now Billy's dead.
Yeah.
Billy would have had Bill. You know what? Had we known Billy was going to die, collecting Pokemon cards because he pulled that rare Snorlax, we would have put him on the death row baseball team instead. Going to be dead anyway.
Sometimes we do go a little dark. Got some dark in here.
0 dark 30. Hey, let's lighten it up a little bit. Hey, let's do our last fun fact. You ready? Or you drank enough water there? Are you going to listen to me or what?
I'm ready. Let's go.
Could you be any more smug when you're drinking your mug right there? Oh yeah, let's listen to this crap he's gonna spew out of his mouth. That's what you're doing right there.
That's not what I was doing.
Yeah, it was. You really look like Lumberg on Office Space.
All the laughing and joy that I'm about to, bring and receive and give to everybody in the world.
In the world, there's more than 27 people in the world, Ryan.
Aquatic cobras and
all right, Ryan. Listen, here we go. Orthosomnia is a condition in which someone becomes so obsessed with getting a good night's sleep that they actually end up losing sleep over it.
That's my wife.
I got to get to sleep. I got to go to bed. I'm worried about it. I got to be there on time. I got to go to bed now.
Orthosomnia, it's a thing. It's true. Yeah.
Dude, every time I have to be somewhere early in the morning, I must have orthosomnia. If I have to be somewhere in the morning and I don't normally wake up that early, every hour I wake up on the hour because I don't want to be late. It's like my body's reaction to anxiety or so. So I'm having anxiety as I'm sleeping. Usually people sleep when they have anxiety to escape anxiety. This is a condition where you can't even escape it with sleep, Ryan.
Yeah, I've been there. When it's like, especially when it's like a new job, and I don't want to be late, or something important like an interview.
Oh, interviews, new jobs, good times episodes where you're going to be fact checked every segment. Smugness from the co-host every time he sips his coffee mug.
You've been calling me smug a lot of our friendship. I mean,
it all started when you bought that damn hybrid.
Oh my goodness, you ghosted me for a while for that.
You're like, Alex,
he's such a jerk. Saying he's better than me in that car.
Alex, I'd love to hang out with you. I really would like to spend time with you right now, but I'm going to have to be the one to drive over there because it's better for the environment. Because you've got that gas guzzler, Alex, and you don't care about anyone besides yourself. So I'm going to save the environment by driving my hybrid over because I care.
Yes, that's exactly how it was. If you took a camera back, to those days, oh man, you got such a good memory.
Yeah, I do. And you know what? Hey, Ryan, let's move to something a little bit lighter. Let's go to Good Time Sports. Hit the sports button.
Sports. You know what? You're gonna get the best sports here. Better than any sports. Better than ESPN, CBS Sports, Fox Sports. We are the best. Good Time Sports. This is where you're gonna hear it because Alex is an expert. I'm the idiot. He gets to explain it to people like me who have no idea what's going on, and therefore. Everybody's, getting taken care of here. The experts and the people like me.
Ryan. All right, man. So the NBA basketball season, the regular season is drawing to a close. There's 1 or 2 games left in the season. 40-year-old power forward Udonis Haslem just made his regular season debut. So he made it like 98% of the way through the season. He hadn't played a minute. He gets in the game. This is 2 days ago. He played 3 minutes. He scored 4 points on 2 of 2 shooting, so he was 100%. He grabbed 1 rebound, and after 3 minutes of perfection, he was promptly ejected. He got into a fight 3 minutes into his season debut, which ironically might be his season. That might be it. That might be his entire season. 3 minutes of action, and he got ejected. Ryan, is this him being overzealous and really happy and pumped up to be in the game, or is this just a case of him being a dick?
I think, because I've seen this happen before, possibly someone got him mad enough to fight to get him kicked out of the game.
Like Rodman used to do when he'd like tackle and trip Karl Malone.
He did that to get Karl Malone pissed to get him?
Yeah, there was clips of him on The Last Dance where Malone is going down the court to score, and Rodman is riding him so tight, and like they're under the basket, and Rodman's just grabbing his hip, tripping him, falling down. It's like every move Malone made, Rodman was right there on him. Rodman wanted to guard Malone more than he wanted a 3-day vacation in Vegas.
It reminds me, there's this famous World Cup soccer match with Zinedine Zidane, and this guy said something mean to him, and they think he was like, your mother's a whore or something like that, and he headbutted the person, got kicked out of the game, and that was like his last game.
So he baited him to say something, or he baited him, and then
yes, because he's the best soccer player in the world. So
well, that's really smart then. Back in the old days, Ryan, they used to have a guy called an enforcer for like an NBA squad. And that guy's job was to just come in and harass the other team's star. So if you got 6 fouls or whatever before you foul out, they'd be like, Ryan, don't try to score. Don't try to get a rebound. Don't try to do nothing. All you're doing today is you're going to be on Michael Jordan like stink on, dog crap. You're going to be all over him. Hack him every time you get a chance. Slap his hands, slap his face. That's the guy's job, was the enforcer.
Yeah. Wow.
I miss those days.
Well, I mean, did the Pistons have like 6 enforcers?
Yeah, no, I think all 12 of them were. The bad boy Pistons. My God. Did you see some of those fouls they used to do? Somebody would be up in the air for a layup and they just push them in the back and they'd fly down like unprotected. That's so dangerous.
Yeah, it is. In hockey, they used to have that, like enforcers just knock the crap out of everybody.
Yeah, they don't really do that nowadays because everybody in hockey needs to be able to score. They like the enforcers in hockey used to be able to just beat the crap out of the other players, but they're too slow and their puck handling is pretty suspect. So a lot of those guys have, they're not, it's part of a game that doesn't exist anymore for hockey.
Yeah, that's what I heard. It's kind of gone away.
Ryan, did you know that Michael Jordan's game-worn University of North Carolina jersey just sold at auction for $1.3 million?
I would have thought more.
Well, it's not a Bulls jersey. It's his college jersey.
Yeah. I mean, because it's a pretty rare thing.
Listen.
But still, nobody's buying his house.
Oh, is Michael Jordan trying to sell his house right now?
He's been trying to sell it, the one in Chicago, since he left.
What is he asking for it? Do you know what the asking price is?
I don't know. I don't know what the asking price is, but once I saw on Twitter, it had a little advertisement and it had the face of him crying.
Oh yeah, the Jordan meme, the Jordan face, because nobody will buy. I think Michael Jordan's going to be okay if nobody buys the house. He can keep using it as a tax write-off or whatever you do when you have multiple land assets. He'll be all right.
I think he must have made it so unique that people are like, this isn't really practical, like why do I need a basketball hoop in my kitchen?
he's got a swimming pool that's shaped like the Jordan logo, but when you're swimming, you can't do lap swim or sprints because there's no end to end. It's just head to crotch or leg to hand. Go out there and do some laps in the Jordan pool. Where do I start? It's not you know what I'm talking about?
I know it's funny.
Where do you even put up the little dinghies to keep the lanes separate? It's like, man, that guy just killed you in a lap swim. It's like, yeah, because he was swimming from armpit to armpit to shoulder. I had to swim from head to balls. And I'm not talking basketballs. Hey, listen to this one. Legend has it. Do you know who Ricky Henderson is? Do you remember him?
No.
Ricky Henderson is like one of the all-time great leadoff hitters. So he's kind of like you know how Ichiro would bat first?
Yeah.
Ricky batted first.
Okay.
And Ricky Henderson is the all-time stolen base leader for the Major League Baseball. He's also the all-time runs leader, so he scored more runs than anybody else in baseball. And he also has more leadoff home runs than any other player. And he also has 3,000 hits, which is a really rare feat. So legend has it that one time somebody quoted a Bible quote to Ricky, and it was the famous John 3:16.
Yeah.
Somebody was trying to teach the Bible to Ricky, and he said, Ricky, John 3:16. Here's the quote, and Ricky responded with, Ricky don't want to hear about John hitting 3:16 when Ricky's hitting 3:30.
Okay.
Isn't that crazy? Like, Ricky don't want to hear about John hitting 3:16. Ricky is hitting 3:30, baby. Ricky 3:30 is the new Bible quote for good times.
Ricky 3:30.
Ricky 3:30. That's the good times. That's the new merch right there. We were talking about new merch. There you go.
Yeah.
Ricky 3:30. We just have to somehow get Ricky in on the deal. We'll give him a cut.
Yeah, get him in on the show to promote it.
Can we get Ricky, like, I'm on the bottom screen here, you're on the top. Can we get Ricky on the bottom right? And can we also get the Teespring bigwig on the top right? Let's cut a deal right now, please. Hey, last good time sports story of the evening or of the day. We're actually doing this a little bit earlier. Check this out. Jets running back Frank Gore. Have you heard of Frank Gore at all?
No.
Okay,
Frank Gore.
Frank Gore.
Really to Al Gore? Is he going for president?
No. Frank Gore has been in the NFL for like 15, 16 years at the running back position. And that's one of the most brutal positions in the NFL because you're taking hits like crazy. If you touch the ball, you're getting hit. So Frank Gore just turned 38 about a day ago. So to give you some perspective on how long Frank Gore has been in the NFL, Frank Gore's son just started his first season in college football this season. So Frank is in the NFL still while his firstborn son just started his college football career. There's a chance, Ryan, that if Frank can hold on for another 2 or 3 years, they could both play in the NFL together.
That would be awesome.
I don't know that that's ever happened in the NFL because that's such a brutal sport. I mean, yeah. I really don't think that's ever happened.
They usually don't last long in there. Actually, I was watching a documentary, and they send them to these financial people, because there's so much problems with them spending all their money, and they go, "What does the NFL stand for?"
Not for long.
Right.
In other words, see you later. The average lifespan, like the average career for an NFL player, wasn't it like 2.3 years or something? It's not very long.
Yeah, because you're playing against the best of the best, right? So they're always going to be, fine-tuning everything and kicking you out if you suck.
Ryan, what song would be playing if you finally made the NFL? What song would be playing?
Well, if I was playing, I would totally be the best. So it would be, "You're the best round. Nothing's ever gonna get you down."
Try your best because you're in here for not for long, and you better save your money to make it. That's a little callback to the pre-show, guys. Ryan was serenading us before we went live. So if you missed it, you missed it. Sorry, bud. You can thank me later for bringing that back. Ryan, hit the headlines button.
Good Times headlines, the best headlines, the headlines that you will never forget and never have, second thoughts about, because it's always going to be fact.
Yeah. Why do you need a newspaper when you got the Good Times headlines? Let's start it up right now. And by the way, since we are bringing you the Good Times headlines, all you good timers, newspaper subscriptions are about what? $10 a month, $20 a month. Why don't you do yourself a favor? Hold on to that money. And since we're giving you all the news and all the important facts and important sports stories you need right now, don't waste it on the newspaper. That's a dying medium anyway. Why don't you go ahead and use that money at teespring.com and get yourself some Good Times swag, where you can get all the latest, the greatest Good Times merch. You can get us on a coffee mug. You can get us on a sweater. You can get us on a shirt. You might even get Ricky 330 on a shirt. Yeah, check the mug out. Forget newspapers. Forget all that stuff. Go ahead, use that money. Teespring.com. Look for Good Times with Alex and Ryan. You'll thank us later.
Alex, that game bring tears to my eyes because that was so beautiful.
Isn't that beautiful? Yeah. Teespring.com. And also, Ryan, let's give a big shout out to our sponsor, today's sponsor, every sponsor for every episode, Anchor.com.
Alex, they're already gonna be on.
That's all right. Hey, if the bigwigs at Anchor are listening right now, this is a BOGO for you, bud. The easiest place to do a podcast, the safest place to do a podcast, and also the cheapest place. And believe you and me, Ryan and I have tried them all. Go to Anchor.com, and where you can have a good time. Woo! Headlines. Let's go.
We need to redo it.
Here we go. Ryan, I love your bedroom voice on the commercial. Hey, all you good timers, let me pour you some wine. You sound like you're trying to get in bed with all of our listeners. You literally are using a bedroom voice. We could, like, if I'm somebody that's not involved with the show and I hear you like out of nowhere on the ad, we're talking about swimming from Michael Jordan's head to his ball sack in a swimming pool. And then out of nowhere, we go from that to you trying to get all the good timers in bed with that freaking voice of yours. I wouldn't know what to think of the show. I'm going to be honest. Hey, good timers. Ryan here. I've made a lot of podcasts. I've made a lot of babies. Those are two things I'm good at. And let me tell you something. Let me light this candle real quick and pour this Chianti. You sound like you're trying to sleep with all of the good timers. What is the matter with you?
Are you serious?
Are you dying right now?
Yeah, pretty much. I just thought you sounded better.
Hey,
if you like the slow seduction,
yeah.
you can keep that up.
You sound like the guy. You remember those 90s compilation like CD commercials where it's like the best of the 90s. Listen to all the cool jams of the 80s. And then they'll play all the love songs from that era. You were like one of those guys on the infomercial trying to sell me on buying this record compilation.
The cool side of the pillow.
Yeah, and then it goes into like, how do you talk to an angel? Can you take me higher? You know what I'm talking about? Those commercials used to be on Sunday. I guess TV time was cheaper back when we were kids on Sunday, because that's when all those infomercials were on. Like, right? Like they'd have they'd have those, and then you'd have the Ron Popeil Showtime Rotisserie Grill. That would be on, and then they'd have George Foreman's Knock Out the Fat Grill would be a big one. And I don't know, I can memorize some of those. They'd have the commercial where the guy had the pair of scissors where he's like cutting through a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, do you have a pair of sneakers that you don't want anymore? Do you have a pair of scissors that could cut through those sneakers? Well, let me tell you about these scissors. And then they, cut shoes up and stuff.
Dude, there's this awesome TikTok I just saw the other day about infomercials. He's like doing the dishes. He's like, how a normal person does the dishes, and just doing the normal dishes. And he goes, how an infomercial does the dishes. He starts doing the dishes, and then they fall on the floor, and he trips on them and then falls, and it's like, oh no.
So every person who does dishes is just a klutz, just awful at it.
If you do dishes like this, you need.
Nobody really does dishes by hand anymore anyway. Like most people just scrape it or rinse it and put it in the dishwasher. Nobody's at their, like, it's not 1973 anymore. They don't have those big yellow gloves that go on up to their elbow.
They still sell them.
Yeah, but
I wash dishes by hand sometimes if there's like one or two dishes.
I pre-wash dishes too, but I mean, come on, man. There's not a lot of people. I get upset with people that don't pre-wash anything. They're like, the plate is literally covered with like bones and like a full piece of whatever. And they're like, oh, just put it in the dishwasher. It's fine. It's like, well, I don't think it is. It's just going to wash the food and the debris all over the stuff. Like, this isn't a good idea. It's a dumb idea. As exciting as talking about doing dishes is, I think we need to move on to headlines.
All right.
I think we need to get out of this. I'm going to hit the abort button on the dish talk here because I'm boring myself. Here we go. Delta Airlines is currently seeking volunteers to fill vacancies at airport lounges. Delta recently sent out an email to all of their employees, and this is what it says. Just come to the Atlanta airport for a few hours to help with cleaning, wiping tables, running food, restocking food buffets, etc. The company said sent this message, right? It's advised volunteers to wear business casual slacks and white shirts, and said that they would be provided with aprons. Volunteers are needed at all times, but there's a caveat, Ryan. You know, all these guys that, you know, all these volunteers they need at for Delta, there's only a minimum of 3 days per month that all these volunteers can work, you know, because they're trying to get free labor.
Maximum or minimum?
Maximum of 3 days. So, but here's another thing though to this story. The Delta CEO just received $13.1 million in total compensation for 2020. Why is a company that's paying their CEO $13.1 million and that is probably still doing very well actively trying to get their actual employees to volunteer 3 days a month? What the hell is going on? Does Kylie Jenner run this company? Kylie Jenner was who we talked about in the previous episode where she's worth $1 billion and she was trying to have a GoFundMe account pay for her makeup artist's brain surgery.
I don't know anything
instead of her paying for it.
That person.
Ryan, why is the CEO trying to get volunteers to pay to work in the cafes in these airports? This is the most tone deaf, ridiculous story I've ever heard. This pisses me off.
Well, you know, it sounds like a good time.
Oh, yeah, it does. Oh, you can come.
What good time are they going to have over there to want that? I'm like, he can't require voluntary duty.
That's like when I worked at this one place and they had voluntary overtime. But it was like, if you don't show up, you're fired sort of deal. It's like, you know, we're working Monday through Friday and, you know, there's work on, it's non-mandatory, but, you know, if you don't show up, you know, don't show up Monday. Like, well, then it's mandatory. No, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah, I know that type of stuff. It's like, or hey, we got a United Way coming in. I know you already give away 10% of your earnings, but you know, you're a punk and jerk if you don't give to the United Way for our company.
Listen, United Way at your company sounds exactly like when you go to a grocery store and you're paying for your groceries and it's like you're paying with a debit card and it's like, do you wish to donate $2 to, you know, hospice or whatever? And then they like publicly shame you. They're like, oh, you don't want to donate to hospice? Oh, so you're not donating to help, you know, children or, you know, people dying. You don't want people to die peacefully in their own houses. Okay, well, just hit decline there. And they say it in front of everybody.
And they would be saying that to Mother Teresa.
Yeah, they're like, oh, you don't want to donate and help people. Okay.
All right, well, Teresa,
yeah, okay, you're a jerk. Ryan, you know, this is a perfect segue because we're talking about, you know, jobs kind of making us do things we don't want to. I found the perfect job for us. We need to get this job.
Okay, I'm on it.
There's a website that reviews naps. So they're pay you $1,500.
We've actually visited this before.
This is a different one. That's similar. It's in the same vein. Ryan, listen.
Fact check.
Eachnight.com offers comparisons of mattresses, bedding, and other items in hotel rooms. So they just like, how fast did you fall asleep in this hotel? How fast did you fall asleep on these sheets? Did you dream well? Did you have a nightmare? What kind of blend were you using for the sheets? What was the thread count? You got to keep track of all that, Ryan. This is a very serious situation. So if you do 30 different naps and you follow all the questionnaires and you do the 6 different meetings and stuff they have, you'll get $1,500. And Ryan, I think we're the men for the job.
I think we can.
Yeah.
So my wife and I did a restaurant thing like that, where you go in and you do surveys and fill out all that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what? We got a free meal out of it, but it's work.
It is a lot of paperwork, isn't it?
Yes. So, I mean, it was nice to eat out, but you have to like observe everything and be able to write a good report. And it's like,
well, I know. Instead, it takes away from the actual, like the actual like eating of the meal and just enjoying yourself. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. So,
I was gonna say Mike, who's actually been on the Good Times podcast probably 3 or 4 times in the past episodes. Mike has gotten into doing surveys online, so he'll do, online surveys, and they actually pay him in like $1 bills. So he'll get a letter in the mail, and it'll be like, here's $4 for doing the survey on whatever he did it on. So he's been getting these every once in a while. So I've noticed that he'll pay for things in these like brand new crisp $1 bills, which has intrigued me because I, like everyone else in the world, like money. I use money. I'd like to have more money, but if it actually turns out to be work, I don't know if I want to do it.
Yeah.
So we'll just kind of we'll play the wait and see method with Mike. Let's see if he.
Where's the money that just comes?
I just want envelope money. Like, we need to get Good Times syndicated to where we do nothing. We need to have like Friends money. Like each member of Friends, because it's in syndication, makes like $20 million a year from just, that's it. They just get it guaranteed because they get 2% of the, the residuals every year. So $20 million a year. David Schwimmer, who played Ross, could just sit on a beach and play and drink Coronas and margaritas and play volleyball, and he'd still get $20 million a year.
That's crazy.
For the rest of his life. We need that.
I never even liked Friends.
Oh man, I wasn't.
I liked How I Met Your Mother, but not Friends. I didn't like the humor at all.
Well, I was kind of not on the Friends boat when it first was out, but I didn't really understand it. But I love it now. It's so funny. The writing's really good. It's a good show.
I might have to try and give it a second chance, but I tried. I'm like, dude, you're talking about underwear, and it's such a big deal to find out who was there and whose it was. Like, it's okay.
Ryan, you're listen. Friends is good. You need to go back and give it a look.
Smelly cats.
Oh, that's Phoebe.
Yeah,
Phoebe's crazy.
Okay, I just.
Ryan, you know what we need to get into? We need to get into another Good Time story. Check this out. This is exciting, Ryan.
Excitement.
All right.
Excited.
All right.
Exciting. Good time. Like some.
Ryan, a marshmallow was launched 225 feet 10 inches and caught in another man's mouth.
Woo!
Yeah, a pair of Utah men recently broke the Guinness World Record when one man launched the marshmallow from a slingshot and the other man caught it in his mouth from 225 feet 10 inches away.
That's awesome.
That is awesome, and it's a little scary because can you imagine if you busted out your front teeth on a marshmallow? Like, how'd you break your teeth out? Were you in an MMA fight? What happened? Bar fight? Something badass, right? Nope. Marshmallow. My buddy launched it 230 feet away. I caught it in my front teeth, busted them out. But I'm in the Guinness Book of World Records, so there's that. Can you imagine? Man, that guy looks like a badass, man. He's all messed up. Because he didn't catch it on the first toss. He's probably got welts all over his face. 225-foot launched marshmallows. I think that the guy who caught the marshmallow in his mouth should be the one that's in Guinness, because that's a talent. That is an actual skill.
Well,
The dude,
they should have combined two. Like, have him catch him in his mouth and say "Fluffy Bunny" every time.
oh man, that would be next level. They listen. That's what they just did is old hat. They're gonna have to do chubby bunny after that. Oh yeah, definitely. But the guy who's launching them shouldn't have his name in the Guinness book. All he did was anybody can shoot him out of a slingshot. The dude catching is the one who's like the actual star of the show, right?
Oh, what's his name? Cam Newton helped with the record, and all he did was throw the football for the guy to catch it, because they were who wants to be a world record holder? You? Okay. All right, Cam, throw the ball.
Well, hey, ironically, that was Cam Newton's only complete pass all season too. He is lousy as a he's one of the best running quarterbacks ever.
I haven't been following him. I just know he's super arrogant.
He wears some of the most ridiculous hats to his interviews. Have you seen some of his? You need to do your
too, like a fedora.
Where he wears like a Peter Pan hat. He wears like these big dusters. Like he wears these scarves. He looks like Lenny Kravitz. If Lenny Kravitz, the rock and roller, was a football player.
Out of his limo, the song plays, "As long as I got my suit and tie."
Ain't nobody dope as Cam. He dressed so fresh and so clean. Ryan, we got one more headline, and then that's the end of today's show. Are you sad?
I am so sad. No, I can't be sad because I am having the greatest time on Good Times with Alex and Ryan.
We've had a lot of musical numbers in today's episode. That's you and I have sang at least 4 or 5 different times in this episode.
And I've serenaded with my
you don't serenade. You bedroom talk, Ryan.
Actually, I don't think the people on that just watch our YouTube have ever heard it. So if you want to hear it, just go to one of our podcasts and you'll hear me, be sultry and
and sensual when you're trying to sell the show. Ryan, was Diana upset when she heard the Good Times commercial? Because she's like, hey, only he talks to me in that voice.
I don't think she's ever heard it. Yeah, have you heard the Good Times commercial? Where I talk?
That is not his bedtime talk.
It's his bedroom voice. That's
his bedroom voice.
Hey, you good timers out there. Have you seen the show? Holla at your homeboy. Check out. Here's the deets for the show, girl. Hey, Ryan, last headline of the night. Let's get into it. All right, check this out. Hey, RJ Wild is in the chat all the way from London, Great Britain. Friend of the show.
How do you know it's from London?
She's from we follow her on Twitter and she follows us back. Say hello, Ryan. Be a gentleman.
Oh, well, hello there. That's from Star Wars.
Ryan, check this out.
Okay.
Police listen.
Comment RJ Wild.
Police recently rushed over to a restaurant in Nova Scotia. A local restaurant had apparently violated a COVID-19 violation. So the police in Nova Scotia got a hot tip. Someone's at a restaurant table right now eating, and they need to get over there and they need to take care of business because they're violating, the lockdown measures.
What are they? Because they're eating?
They're eating in there. They weren't supposed to be in there. Canada doesn't play around, dude. So the police rush over and try to bust up this guy eating in the Nova Scotia restaurant. Much to the policemen and women's chagrin, the person eating in the restaurant was a mannequin. It was not an actual human being. Not human.
Oh man.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot. I was wondering, like, with this new thing coming on where like you got like people that aren't vaccinated are supposed to wear masks. I was wondering like how many people are going to be like that. Like, uh-oh, I better call the police on this person because I just heard they got in without being vaccinated.
Hey, So RJ Wild says not London, but Northwest. And she says hi anyway. So listen, we got to have a good times retraction on the show right here. I apologize. I've never actually left the United States of America, and I am uneducated. RJ Wild, Ryan normally fact checks me when it comes to geography, and he blew it. So can you apologize to her right now, Ryan?
I'm so sorry.
Okay, thank you. When you're actually supposed to fact check me and make me look good, you drop the ball. But when you're not supposed to fact check me and make me look good, you do fact check me. What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't know, man. I dropped the ball, okay? Blame it on the intern.
Yeah, you dropped the ball. It's probably Cam Newton throwing you some passes because he's inaccurate, highly inaccurate. Ryan, so check this out. So the police get over to this Nova Scotia restaurant. They see it's a mannequin. They were all fired up to bust these, lockdown breakers. So the police talk to the owner and they get him on the phone and they're like, hey, came over to your restaurant, checked it out. We heard there was a COVID-19 violation lockdown happening right now. Turned out to be a mannequin. So you're fine. No fines, no nothing. But the police gave the owner a stern warning. They said, listen, please make sure that the next time a mannequin is eating in your restaurant, that they're at least social distancing from the other mannequins and they're also wearing their masks.
Wow.
So they wanted to make sure that the mannequins were wearing masks and observing social distancing.
I am more curious as to what type of person called the police.
Oh, dude.
I mean, they didn't even look to see if the person was moving. I mean, the person could have been dead, and they're just like, you can't fool me. I know you're faking your death so you can eat.
Well, dude, you know that there's restaurants all over. I see restaurants in town here that all over the place that when we were in lockdown, major lockdown, I saw people eating in windows all the time. And the cops were like, I've got so many better things to do right now than go bust this guy because he's eating an empanada. This guy's having some Dunkaroos. I got to really go in here and tell this guy that he can't eat his fruit by the foot in that building right now. He doesn't want to go in there and tell him that he can't have his Lunchable inside the building.
It's like that homeless guy story. He's just, he's trying to get his chicken his last meal. And
my brother, dude, my brother missed his calling. He needs to be a lockdown enforcement police officer because he.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, I can.
He'll bust in like John Cena.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun. My brother, dude, my brother literally thinks he's a WWE superstar. He believes he needs theme. My brother does need theme music. So if there's any good timers or anybody that hears the episode or they're in the chat, if they can get with us later on, and if you're a composer or you make music, can you please work with the good timers, us, the boys, and let's put a theme song together for my brother because he deserves one. Nobody acts that wild and outlandish and physically abrasive without trying to get their own theme music. So with that being said, Ryan, let's end the show.
I got a story. True life story. All right?
You do?
Story I heard related to that in Bandon. All right. So they used to set up I don't know if they still do this, a police car with a dummy inside.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, someone stole the dummy and then put a little ransom note. If you want this dummy back, meet here at this time and bring donuts. Oh,
really?
Yes. And
the ransom met?
Well, yeah, he came in, but it's kind of a joke, right? It's fun. Well, they tackled him and started doing the police brutality thing on him when he brought back the dummy.
Wait a minute. They put him in a chokehold and tackled him when he brought the dummy back?
They were rough with him. Like, you can't embarrass us. we're the Bandon police.
They have more important stuff to do, like protecting the cheese factory. Like, I can't believe that.
Well, I mean, I don't think even they could have protected the cheese factory since it went under.
Yeah, the cheese factory couldn't even protect itself from their own books that they didn't know how to manage because it's no longer in business.
By Tillamook, and then Tillamook was like, "Oh, we're doing away with you."
I think Tillamook and Bandon are owned by Tillamook now. I think Tillamook, it's all under one umbrella now.
Well, they were, and what happened is they moved the Bandon cheese that was made in Bandon to Tillamook, and they
so
made Tillamook, and then they sold that place to a different place.
So
when you-
Bandon
Ban-
is Tillamook's bitch, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you bought the customers, you didn't buy the.
Well, I think that aren't all Albertsons owned by Safeway now?
No, Safeway and Albertsons are owned by the same company.
Okay.
An
Okay.
investment company.
So when they're competing with prices on like meat and like whatever, they're just competing with themselves. They're playing off each other because they're owned by the same umbrella company.
They're I don't know how that works, man. I mean, I should, but
That seems like collusion at its finest. It's like,
does.
oh, we better go over to Albertsons because the meat is cheaper than at Safeway. But
does.
they're owned by the same company, so they're ultimately winning, right? Doesn't that sound illegal a little bit?
It sounds at the most a little shady.
Yeah,
So, I mean, at least a little shady. Yeah. All right,
Ryan, in the show, man. Let's end the show.
All right. Hey, thank you all, you good timers, for listening to us. We appreciate it. We are blown away by those awesome good reviews you've given us. Like those Apple reviews, it's awesome. It's like, whoa, we got like 11 5-star. I mean, it's really, I mean, we appreciate it. We appreciate the likes and the subscribes, and we'll be here next time. So once again, thank you.
Mahalo. Bye-bye.